Fort Madison, Iowa, USA. The city with a future is a busy place, a thriving community of over 15,000 population. It lies on the west bank of the great Mississippi River at one of the widest and most scenic points. It is midway between Kansas City and Chicago, about 200 miles north of St. Louis and about 175 miles southeast of Des Moines, our state capital. Our town derives its name from an old military post erected in 1808. The post was called Fort Madison in honor of James Madison, who had just been inaugurated President of the United States. Our town is 530 feet above sea level and covers an area of 6.5 square miles. We were incorporated January 19, 1838, by an act of the Wisconsin Territorial Legislature. We are so fortunate in our town. Our climate is extremely temperate. Paved highways extend in all directions from our town. They are well kept and provide the link with the rest of our nation. As we can see from the air, Fort Madison is a city with a variety of important industries. Our town is also a city of many beautiful homes in which we take great pride. There are no slums in our town, and care has been taken in the planning of dwelling districts apart from its industrial areas. Over $500,000 was spent on new homes in 1954 alone. In the expansion of new housing districts, Modern Homes Incorporated has played a major role. Modern Homes Incorporated has been creating beautiful homes since 1951 in areas like Alta Drive. New houses will continue to be built in this new development, which covers 80 acres of ground. As long as the growing population of Fort Madison continues to show its enthusiastic support for the project, Modern Homes Incorporated will supply them. While all of these homes are only a few minutes by convenient public transportation or family car from the stores and shopping centers, they are far enough from the main thoroughfares to assure children's safety and play, and yet close enough to afford easy access to schools. Our children can safely ride their bicycles through this lovely district of individual houses, enjoy the good clean air without fear of accident from traffic. The land has been deeded to the city. Developments like these, by the Modern Homes Incorporated, are the reason that Fort Madison has adopted as its motto, the city with a future. We are fortunate in our town to have a mayor and council form of city government. There are 7 councilmen elected for 2-year terms from 5 wards. Under their supervision, the various departments of the city are operated. Mayor Leroy Bean and city engineer Arthur E.J. Johnson look over a map of a projected street widening project. There are other upcoming projects like sewage disposal, all matters of great interest to us. The Fort Madison Police Department consists of the chief, 3 captains, and 10 patrolmen who work in 3 shifts around the clock. Chief Roy O. Poling hands a dispatch to Captain E.R. Rainey. In the radio dispatch room, Captain Rainey then hands the dispatch to Patrolman James McCluskey, who contacts the patrol cars by radio. Two sheriff's cars, 2 motorcycles, and 2 radio-equipped patrol cars are the tools for our protection. The radios tie in with an intra- and interstate network. They can relay information across the country when necessary. The Iowa State Penitentiary, located in Fort Madison, is also hooked into this radio network. In separate cars, Patrolman Roy Cross and Arthur Hewitt receive the communication over the radio phone system and drive on to do their job in keeping our town safe for our loved ones. Our fire department, too, is always on the alert at the first signal of danger to our town. When the signal sounds, the men are ready to take to the polls. We have 4 fire trucks besides the chief's car, to which the men hustle and get into their equipment. Under the able direction of Chief A.W. Huffaker and Assistant Chief Gerald Cook, who always lead the procession, they will take us through the practice drill. This portion of the Fort Madison Fire Department has been in this building since 1873. They have an excellent record of keeping our city safe from ravage by fire. They are our assurance that we can sleep nights without fear of a common enemy, fire. Since a great many of our buildings are now fireproof, and since we have been educated to take care where the danger of fire is possible, the death ratio from this danger is down to a minimum. But we always must maintain a well-equipped and well-manned staff of experts for the emergencies that arise. There are still plenty unexpected happenings for which our fire department is called on. Kenneth Freitag and Wendell Fish are helping to demonstrate the speed with which they follow the chief's orders and get their work done in an orderly procedure. And whether you're 5 or 50, there's a strange fascination about following the fire engine and watching these capable men work. When there's smoke, there's fire, they say. Let's add, where there are fires, there you will find the gaping, wonderful faces of some of the youngsters of our town. From a hill in the residential section, we look over the heart of the business district of our town. Surrounded as it is by the range of hills at its east and north, it lies on a plateau, which is well above the highest water mark. This is our assurance against invasion by the river in times of unusual rise, a feature enjoyed by Fort Madison, envied by her many river neighbors. Avenue H on the riverfront, like some of the other architecture of Fort Madison, combines the best feature of a city that has the Mississippi River tradition. Beautiful buildings and homes are maintained by almost every lodge and fraternal society in our town. Business and industry combine to keep employment at a high level. The variety of trades make it possible to suit individual abilities to the needs of our expanding industries. Business is growing steadily in our town. One of the many thriving Fort Madison businesses, located on Avenue H, is the Troy Laundry Company. In its 34 years on Avenue H, the Troy Laundry Company has been at the same address. Founded by H.B. Watson-Hour in 1920 in only 2 rooms, it has expanded with the growth of our town to include a dry cleaning and fur storage department. Even though there's a competent pickup and delivery service, many customers prefer to bring in their own bundles and discuss the details with an always courteous receiving department. When the laundry has been assorted at Troy's, the shirts are carefully protected from being manhandled by being placed in mesh bags before they go into the automatic washing machines. No harsh cleansing ingredient is used. The shirts are washed in Lux Flakes. From the washing machine, the shirts move to the extractor, where excess moisture is removed. Shirts are a man's most valuable, washable possession. They want comfort from their laundering, So special machines are used to give each part individual pressing. The sleeves, the cuffs, the body, and that most important part, the collar, which when properly pressed can make your shirt feel right on your neck. All this is part of the fine service at Troy's Laundry, mother's friend, who use the most modern equipment to save her work and give you comfort. From the pressing machines, your shirt travels to other machinery, which folds and wraps it so scientifically that the collar and cuffs retain their pressed look, and the shirt is delivered to you ready to place in the bureau drawer. The Troy Laundry Company employs 38 of our good neighbors and is now busily engaged in working out plans for expansion in order to continue to serve our enlarging community. The same gentle care that is given your laundry is used by the dry cleaning department at Troy's. First, the clothing is sorted and examined, then rinsed in a special chemical solution. It is then placed in the extractor to take off any excess, then turned over to the presser. Troy's pressing assures you of getting the garment back in your proper size, carefully avoids shining up even the most delicate fabrics, and keeps your outfit looking fresh and pert through many wearings. Pressing is an art, as Mother can tell you, and it can be very hard work. When you have the fine machinery and skilled labor that the Troy Laundry Company has in their plant, you can be proud of your product. Troy specializes in service. Mr. Watznauer removes a fur coat from the insect-proof, temperature-controlled fur storage vaults at Troy's. It's a far cry from the old days when Troy Laundry Company made their delivery in these. Today, with modern machinery, trained and skilled workmanship, deliveries within a 65-mile radius, Troy's are one of the business firms in our town that look forward to an even bigger future for Fort Madison. All work and no play would not appeal to our young folks. Life can be beautiful through make-believe, and that's just what these young people are doing. They're making up for a new play to be presented by the Fort Madison Little Theater, a group that have been going strong since 1951. Through the able direction of Mrs. Frank Lyman, this active group has been presenting worthwhile and interesting plays for our town to enjoy. Makeup plays an important part in the interpretations of the various roles. Through makeup, you can make the most innocent face look villainous, or the youngest face aged by character lines. Much time goes into planning a character, and many types of makeup are applied before the right makeup is found to fit the part. Let's look in on a rehearsal directed by Mrs. Lyman and acted out by Keith Campbell, Alice Ott, Red Ellertson, Lee Jones, Frank Lyman, Norbert Krieger, and Norman Roby. Rehearsals are always hectic. There is much difference of opinion over the interpretation of a particular speech. There's always someone who hasn't memorized his lines and has to ask, "What's my next line?" They forget their stage business and nearly knock each other down. Somehow out of the mix-up, by the time they are ready to show the production to us, it is smooth, the scenery is fitting, the costumes right for the spirit of the play, and the lights a compliment to the makeup. It takes a lot of hard work to produce a play, but there is nothing more rewarding than the sound of warm applause on opening night. The headaches disappear, and only the glow of the lights reflect the joy of accomplishment. pumpkins carved as masks of drama show the ham in us. And when we say ham, our next word is cheese. When we think of cheese or other dairy products, we think of Friesmeier's Dairy, the finest in dairy foods for more than 30 years. Situated in the same location on Highway 61, 1/2 mile from Fort Madison's business district, Friesmeier's are suppliers for a wide area. Maintaining a farm that covers 250 acres and having a herd of 55 grade A cows, it is easy to understand how Charles Friesmeier's Dairy was one of the first state-accredited grade A dairies in Iowa. Scientific milking methods are in line with the fine sanitary conditions that are a part of making a good product for our town. Healthy stock produce health-giving milk products that see us through our busy days. As the milk arrives from the farm, it is conveyed inside the plant, weighed, sampled for flavor and richness, and poured into a holding tank. Almost immediately, the milk is placed into a high-temperature, short-time pasteurizer. This sealed unit pasteurizes the milk in less than 20 seconds, lowering the bacteria count most effectively while preserving the fresh flavor. When the milk has been pasteurized, enriched with vitamin D concentrate, cooked, and completely processed, it arrives at the cartoning machine. This machine is fully automatic, and the milk is never exposed to the air. Container milk is put in patented pure pack containers with a special no-drip spout. Sterile bottles are delivered under stainless steel hoods and are filled without being touched. Coverall caps protect the pouring lip of the bottle from soil until it is opened at your table. Your assurance that Friesmeier's dairy products are made under sanitary conditions. Only grade A milk and cream are used for cottage cheese. And like the other modern equipment used at the dairy, this cheese vat does its job by raking and scooping the cheese to the right consistency. All of Friesmeier's dairy products are delivered fresh daily. Your favorite supermarket is supplied with these delicious products, and deliveries are also made house to house, where you may select a wide variety of pure, rich dairy products. Courtesy and service are two words that are well used at Friesmeier's Dairy, another fine business that has grown with our town. One of the principal factors in the basis of a successful business operation or enterprise is economical transportation facilities. Fort Madison occupies an enviable position with respect to this all-important feature. Accessible to the traveler, convenient to get to and from with frequent and well-timed scheduling, Fort Madison is served east and west by the main line of the Santa Fe, connecting Chicago with Kansas City and the West Coast. The city is served north and south by the Burlington to St. Louis and the Burlington and Rock Island to Minneapolis and St. Paul. "12 eastbound, 12 westbound, 6 northbound, and 6 southbound trains, many with the latest streamlined equipment for our safety and comfort, are available daily from our town." Switching operations are carried on in our area on a 24-hour basis because of the large Santa Fe yards and the high level of CB&O activity. Freight carriers make it possible to deliver our goods with the least possible transportation headache. Schedules are good, rates are fair, and the local staff does everything possible to cooperate with the local businessman to assure him prompt and efficient service. Railroad service is just another of the advantages that we enjoy in our town, of which we are justly proud. Fort Madison, our town is proud of its fine shops and stores, its diversified industry, and the many representative business firms that have helped the growth of Fort Madison. As we see the names go by us on Avenue G, we realize how many people have been involved in keeping us up with the latest and newest available merchandise. We stop to realize how many of our friends and neighbors are employed right here, how much we can find of interest on this one street alone. These are a few new stores, but most of the businesses have been going along for years. The familiar faces are here to select the kind of merchandise we will want, to wait on us when we come in to look at the new shipments, to advise us in our selections. All these services are part of our way of life. And one of our good friends on Avenue G is the Fort Madison Savings and Loan Company, who are able to offer substantial interest on the savings we deposit with it, and reasonable rates on the loans made from it. With assets of $3 million through sound financial planning and development, Fort Madison Savings and Loan are able to help the businessman and average citizen to a sounder financial position. Mr. Edward Richards, who is the executive officer of the Fort Madison Savings and Loan Company, is always ready to discuss a problem. Secretary Rita Green consults with Mr. Richards at his desk concerning a request that she has received. All in a day's work at Savings and Loan on Avenue G. Reading is important to our education and entertainment, too. Our Fort Madison Library is Cattermole Memorial Library. There are approximately 26,000 volumes to choose from, including many current publications and books. The public high school library contains over 4,000 volumes, too, for our reading pleasure. This is the oldest county courthouse still in use in the state of Iowa. Founded in 1841, only 9 years after Fort Madison was settled, it has survived many changes in our town. But there are some things that never change. And in our town, it is the standard of service set in 1946 by Mr. Ernest Lang, the owner of the Lang Buick Company. Automobile travel is an important part of the transportation facilities of the people of our town. And Lang Buick provides complete sales and service for the Fort Madison area. All the benefit of their years of experience goes into the handling of new and used car sales. The new Buick, like all its predecessors, has always been a car of the future. This year's models are completely restyled and importantly re-engineered. Every model is longer, lower, and embodies sensational style changes that are sure to set the pace for years to come. Another thing, every model is more powerful than ever. Mr. Lang has just pointed out to one of our townspeople some of the features of the new Buick, such as the panoramic windshield, the tri-level ventilation, and the twin turbine Dynaflow. And now he is about to find out for himself why Buick has always been known as the better buy. And it's particularly a better buy at Lang Buick, when the owner knows that he has bought his car from a dealer that he can rely on. Top quality used cars are a feature of Lang Buick. All cars are checked carefully and put in first-class condition before they are offered for sale. A warranty goes with each car. Used car buyers are habitually cautious. They want to know what kind of a history the car has. They want to know that they are buying a safe car that has not been abused. This is the kind of assurance that they can get at Lang Buick, where safety and dependability are a motto of Ernest Lang. 20 people are on the job at Lang Buick to see that only the finest quality cars leave these premises. Whether it's a new car or a used car, the purchaser is assured that he has gotten a better buy at Lang's. Here are a couple of men who are about to find that out. And if you want something special for your Buick, Lang's is the place to come to. Reliable servicing and a complete parts department assure car owners of the finest repair service available anywhere. Courteous attention by well-trained mechanics bring customers back to Lang year after year. A reputation which could only have been established through years of experienced and dependable service. There's over $1,800 worth of tune-up equipment alone in Lang's service department. More and more people in our town are learning that they can be assured of fast and thorough service when they bring their car to Lang Buick. It's just another reason why Lang Buick is growing and will continue to grow to meet the expanding needs of our town. Fort Madison has many beautiful churches of all denominations. St. Mary's Church is one. We are pleased with the attendance of both young and old at our many fine church services. It speaks well for our fine spiritual leadership. The Union Presbyterian Church was organized as early as 1838. It is through our spiritual relationships that we learn how best to get along with our fellow man. The Grace Evangelical Lutheran Church of the Wisconsin Synod is another fine example of the dignity of our churches. St. Joseph's Church is another demonstration of the community spirit that dominates our town's churches of all denominations, where our spiritual needs are understood and satisfied. This is the First Christian Church. The First Christian Church is having its Sunday morning service. Reverend A.L. Bradbury has for the past 7.5 years been leader of this 800-member congregation. Let us see the choir, the elders, and the deacons functioning at the services. This 65-year-old church has a very fine organ. Today, the choir will follow Mr. Lester Murphy's playing of the organ. One of the leaders who attend this church is Mattie B. Clements. There are times when spiritual comfort is of utmost importance. It is in these matters that Mrs. Clements shows great concern. Different funeral service is the slogan of the Clements Incorporated, an undertaking establishment which has been serving Fort Madison and nearby areas of Iowa and Illinois since 1910. Founded by Mrs. Mattie B. Clements and her late husband, Walter H. Clements, it is now operated in the same high tradition by Mrs. Clements, who employs 6 people to serve the community's needs. Here, Sue Salisbury reports a message to Mrs. Clements. For 24 years, Mrs. Charles Swall has been the organist for the Clements, playing appropriately for both the comforting services and also for the children's parties, which are well known in the neighborhood of southeastern Iowa. Within a year after Mr. and Mrs. Clements established their funeral home at 1136 Avenue H, They introduced Fort Madison to a demonstration of generosity to the underprivileged children, which has become a tradition. Each year, the Clements have given a Christmas party for about 1,000 children. The children not only have this treat, but are given books of Christmas carols and gifts. Now the second generation of children, needy and otherwise, enjoys the use of this chapel. The party is not only given as an expression of Mrs. Clement's goodwill and love of children, but also as a continuing, living memorial to her late husband and partner. For its regular purposes, this home, with its rich heritage of understanding, sympathetic and dignified service to the people of Fort Madison, has kept pace with the needs of the community. Here, every comfort and courteous service is given the bereaved, every care the departed. Home-like rooms are provided for the family so that privacy may be assured. Spacious, well-appointed limousines, driven by considerate chauffeurs, accompany you and help to make the funeral service a thing not to be dreaded, but rather a thing of beauty to honor the departed when it is planned by the Clements. To maintain the highest standards of safety, all funeral processions are accompanied by members of the police department. A competent ambulance service is also provided for our townspeople by Clements, on call 24 hours a day. It is a comfort to the sick to know that should they require hospitalization, they can be transported with the speed and care of trained people from Clements. Let us watch while drivers Jack Barr and Jack Cassidy go to an emergency, carrying with them a cot and oxygen and doing their usual competent job. Arrives at the Sacred Heart Hospital and the patient is carried in. Another job well done by the Clements, who play a busy part in the services to our town. When a patient arrives, the hospital takes over. The Sacred Heart Hospital has added a new wing. Completed this year, it is equipped with the most modern facilities available. Its capacity is 108 rooms with 180 beds. The X-ray room in the new wing of the hospital is equipped with $22,000 worth of the latest machinery. We see this machinery at work, a patient being given a stomach X-ray. Precision and care, scientifically trained personnel, all serving our town. Well-equipped laboratory in the new wing does all kinds of tests that are required for the well-treated patient. Here, a nurse examines a specimen under the microscope, then goes to the blood bank where she is handed a jar. This well-equipped, well-staffed hospital is the assurance that our town is receiving the best in scientific care. Many of Fort Madison's people were raised on farms, have lived with machines, and learned the meaning of an honest day's work early in life. Almost all of the workers in the area have had at least a high school education. Over 3,600 are presently employed in Fort Madison's industries. Here we see some of our good neighbors, employed by W.A. Schaefer Pen Company, taking a lunch break. Speaking of lunch breaks, it reminds us of good food. And when we think of fresh, top-quality foods at reasonable prices, we think of Greenwald's Supermarket. Presently run by Richard Greenwald and his mother, Mrs. Greenwald, they are maintaining the high standard of products that the late Mr. Greenwald started when he opened shop some 33 years ago. Now expanded to its present size and structure, it is the largest independent supermarket in Lee County, serving thousands of families weekly with an infinite assortment of top-quality products, tastefully and appetizingly displayed. Richard Greenwald assists customers in their selections at the meat counter, where the most modern packaging methods are used to let the customer know the weight, cut, and price of the meat they wish to buy. For the convenience of its customers, Greenwald's also features a cosmetics counter for the ladies and a hardware department for the men. Customers of our town make their selections at Greenwald's from a multitude of domestic and imported products in the dairy freezers, or choose from a wide variety of produce from local and distant farms. "30 employees, diligently behind the scenes, are constantly keeping the freshest packages available on the shelves for your selection. Let's walk around with some of the Greenwald Supermarket's daily customers. We may bump into our next-door neighbor or a cousin here. At the checkout counter, Mrs. Greenwald attends to the patrons who have discovered through years of dealing here that high-volume sales offer the greatest possible price savings to the wise shopper. That is why Greenwald's Supermarket considers itself another proud industry of our town. The future of any town lies in its younger generation. The education, the healthy play, the association with their neighbors is all part of growing up to accept the responsibilities of carrying our town forward to bigger business and better citizenship. 6 public schools, composed of 4 elementary schools, 1 junior high, and 1 senior high school, supply the educational facilities for the 3,000 students of our town. $250,000 was voted in 1954 for additions to 2 of the public elementary schools, as well as an annual levy for a period of 10 years to build up a fund for a new secondary school. Our good teachers not only teach the 3 R's, but many other important subjects to help our young people grow into the big shoes they must soon fill. Well-educated citizens are good citizens, and our investment in youth today is our assurance of a better tomorrow. Health-giving sports activities are just as important as more serious study from books. For here, our young people learn to play in a group, share and share alike, get to know what makes the other fellow tick, and learn the meaning of sportsmanship through play and social relationships. All of these experiences, plus their educational studies, will give our town their future doctors and lawyers, businessmen and industrialists. From our schools, Fort Madison young people can prepare for college, take a complete commercial course, or choose a broad vocational course in our high schools. We are preparing them for a better future. Dancing is a wonderful outlet for excess energy, and when it is done in a group, there is much that can be learned. Our town is fortunate in having an outstanding group called the Wagon Wheel Dancers, who range in age from 13 to 18 years and take the art form seriously enough to actually compete with other groups. This is a fine way to meet other young people, exchange ideas and interests, and expand their circle of acquaintanceships. Dr. Frank Lyman is calling a square dance for the students of Catholic Central High School. These young dancers have twice been national square dance champions. They've been represented in the National Folk Festival in Chicago. Aside from their regular school activities, Fort Madison's high schools see to it that our young people get into sports, have the privilege of joining societies that are of interest to them, and participate in all kinds of junior achievement groups. This helps to build strong bodies, sound minds, and a group of coming citizens that will help further the wonderful strides that our town has made in this ever-exciting era. With the rapid growth of our town, we need materials, dependable products, and reliable suppliers. Among the firms which serve Fort Madison, we have the Building Material Company, whose owner, Mr. Ray Stiefel, started selling lumber when it was scarce in 1946, and has since expanded his business to include almost all the items that are necessary to building construction. Pat Kellner, one of the 5 employees of the Building Material Company, receives an order for paint. Mr. Stiefel approves it, and then Pat begins to fill the order. This one calls for spread satin paint, one of the many nationally advertised products carried by Building Material Company. It's their policy to sell name brand products whose integrity and value are well known, like the Glidden enamel line. Every building need can be found here. Nails, cement, plaster, plywood, wallboards, glass and lumber, all of the highest quality. The Building Material Company has 3 trucks which serve Fort Madison and the adjacent areas. The company prides itself on fair prices and prompt service. They are there when you need them. In the shed, trucks are loaded in minutes after the order comes in. This truck is about to deliver some lumber, pipes, interior insulation boards, a door, roofing materials, and other building incidentals. And the builder or homeowner can be sure that it will be delivered promptly and in good order. With an ever-expanding Fort Madison, this kind of dependable, efficient service is what the Building Material Company is trying to continue to give, so that it too will grow with the other industries of our town. Tonight's a big night at the high school. Everybody loves to sing, whether it's in the bathtub, at home, or down at the barber shop in a quartet. It's another of the wonderful extracurricular activities for which our schools open their doors, so as to bring music into our homes. Through our young and enthusiastic performers, we see ourselves in the spotlight back, well, let's not say when. These are the days of song and laughter, when life is more fun than work. The music can be on or off key, as long as our child is a part of an active, well-organized group, under good leadership. And we can at least, once or twice a year, enjoy a full-dress performance and cheer for our own side. You must know some of these Mississippi misses under the able direction of Coach Floyd Connett. They're joined tonight to produce some real close harmony with 3 other quartets known as the Cantonettes, the Big Four, and the Harmony Grits. They say that music hath charm to soothe the savage beast. But things can get pretty wild when not 1, not 2, but 4 quartets compete for honors in a song fest like this. are many ways to keep young and spry, and from the popularity that the Rodeo City Bowl has achieved in the few months since it opened, it's a good indication that bowling is one of the answers. The bowl was opened in September of 1954 at the east limits of Fort Madison. Scarcely were the doors open when the strikes and spares began to sound on the 12 brand new alleys. So popular has the Rodeo City Bowl become that 12 women's teams and 36 men's teams have already signed up for league bowling. This is Women's League night, and the competing teams are from Parisian, Home Furniture, Madison Women's Sportswear, Dow Drills, Carroll's Conoco, Allen's, Joe's Food Mart, Eitman's, Honey's, Wilkins, Home Appliance, and Frary's. Just watch those girls put everything into it. They look like professionals. Owner Paul Jones has provided everything for the convenience and pleasure of the ladies who want to get away from dishes and babies and others of their daily chores. It is relaxing for the businesswoman, too, who can forget about that cranky boss for a while. You don't even have to own your own bowling ball or shoes. Mr. Jones has a rental service for your convenience. It's a strenuous sport, all right, but it's not as strenuous as you think. It's a good way to take off that extra pound you've been worrying about and do it while you're having fun among people whose company you enjoy. Of course, men have been bowling much longer than the ladies, and its popularity among the men in our town certainly is shown by the 36 teams that have been organized for league competition. This is Men's League night at the Rodeo City Bowl, and the teams competing tonight are from Schaefer's, Madison Menswear, West Point Legion, Franklin Life, 12th Street Tavern, Stephenson Shoe, Iowa State Bank, Fort Madison Motors, Sportsman, Santa Fe, Texas Chief, Woolworths, and Knights of Columbus. See any of your friends or fellow workers? And look at the English he put on that one. In between games, there's a snack bar at the Rodeo City Bowl where you can build up the energy to get that next strike. There are no long waits for return balls. Fast-working pin boys send that ball back in a matter of seconds, and the automatic pin-setting machines keep your game fast and interesting. Every modern convenience makes bowling at Rodeo City a most pleasurable evening. A good place to bring your date and show off that manly superiority. Let's watch some of these fellows in action. This is the kind of sport that makes for wholesome competition and the building up of good relations with your neighbors. Many new and wonderful friendships are growing from the mutual interest in these competitions. It's fun to bowl and it's fun to watch, particularly in the pleasant surroundings of Paul Jones' Rodeo City Bowl. There is so much in Fort Madison. It is a town of good industry, good transportation, good schools, good fun, and good neighborliness. As one leaves Fort Madison, one remembers the parks, the playgrounds, the many amusement and cultural centers that are ours to enjoy. Long-remembered activities like the Fort Madison Community Concert Association, which provides an excellent winter musical program and brings many outstanding musicians to our city. And there are summer band concerts that are provided weekly by the municipal band. 3 theaters bring us fine entertainment. And there are many other activities provided through the facilities of many clubs. It's a busy town. It's an active community. And we like living here. As we cross the Mississippi on the Santa Fe Bridge, the largest drawbridge in the world, we pay our toll, knowing full well we won't be gone for long. We may travel far and wide, but we know as we look back fondly on the city with a future that this is our town, Fort Madison, Iowa, USA.